I'm sitting in a chair right now, and probably you are too.
Chairs. Sitting in a chair!
Chairs are everywhere. Studies show that an average person spends around 280,000 hours sitting in his lifetime. That is 32 years of your life. However, up until the 1800s, only 5% of the entire human population even had a chair. You see, we have had chairs for over 5,000 years now, but they were really expensive to make and only the rich could afford one. It was only during the Industrial Revolution that chairs became accessible to the common people. And one man in particular played a major role in all of this. A man who fought against everything that could go wrong and made the world's first mass-produced piece of furniture, the Thonet No.14. To understand why this chair was such a big deal, I'm gonna take us back to the 1600s, when chairs were still being made by hand. Each chair had to be hand carved from solid pieces of wood. This not only required a serious amount of skill and craftsmanship, but also it took days to make a single chair. All of this meant chairs were really expensive. For context, a simple wooden chair would cost upwards of $500 in today's money, and a well-made one, well over $3,000. That is insane. Most people sat on benches or on the floor. It was only people with money and status who were able to afford a chair for themselves. And that is actually where the word chairman comes from, the man who sits on the chair. We're in the early 1800s now. Chairs are much more common but still pretty expensive. Our guy Michael is running his own wood workshop in Popa, Germany. Now he's kinda obsessed with making these curved chairs. To do this, he would take a bunch of thin strips of wood, glue them together and then bend them into these beautiful and elegant curves. By doing this, he was able to eliminate the process of hand carving solid wood. With this technique, he created the Bopard chair. Beautiful, isn't it? However, the technique had some serious limitations to it. For starters, it was still damn expensive to make the chair. The glue he used would get damaged in wet environments, so shipping them overseas was not an option anymore. And the market for such expensive products was pretty small in a place like Bopard. To make the matters worse, he was facing some serious financial troubles as well. He could barely keep his workshop running. I mean, things were not looking good. Until a prince from Vienna saw his work at an exhibition and he asked him, "Yo, you wanna come work for me instead?" And Thonet agreed. He said, "Yeah, sure." So, at the age of 46, he took his wife, his 5 sons, and moved to Vienna. Things finally started falling into place after moving to Vienna. You see, it was a big city with a lot of wealthy customers. And with the prince on his side, money wasn't the biggest problem anymore. However, it wasn't just the wealthy customers that Thonet had his eyes on. There was a new market emerging, the rising cafe culture in Europe. Now these cafes needed chairs, a lot of chairs, but they had to be cheap, something Thonet's chairs were not. So he went back to the drawing board. He spent almost 20 years and he finally cracked the code. In comes the Thonet No.14. He arguably achieved the pinnacle of design here. I mean, it was cheap, easy to make, and wait until you hear how they shipped it. It was truly revolutionary. But wait, how did he make it? How did he make what? How did he make the chair? Well, by bending the wood. It used to be an ancient shipbuilding technique. You see, the strength of wood comes from its natural glue, also known as lignin. However, if you put this wood inside a steamer and heat it up, the lignin inside it loosens up, allowing the wood to bend. Now this sounds pretty simple on paper, but it just wasn't. The wood would either break into pieces or spring back to its original shape. There wasn't a real way to standardize this process for repeatable manufacturing. Now this is where Michael spent his 20 years, and the solution he found to this problem was so simple, yet it changed everything. During the bending process, he attached a metal strap to the wooden rod. I'm using this aluminium foil to demonstrate it. Now what this did was, while bending the rod, any forces being applied on the external edge of the rod were being absorbed by this metal strap, preventing it from breaking. After perfecting this technique down to millimeters of precision, it was finally time to start manufacturing this chair. By the late 1800s, his company was making 4,000 chairs every single day. The final piece in the puzzle left to solve now was the shipping, and this is where it all came together. The chair was only made of 6 wooden parts, which could be assembled by anyone who knew how to put some screws together. So instead of shipping individually assembled chairs, they decided to send them disassembled, which meant they could pack 36 chairs in a single cubic meter box. It became the world's first flat pack furniture design, something IKEA took to a whole different level a century later. This new shipping design drastically reduced the prices of the chairs, and it instantly became an hit in the market. Turns out the chairs weren't just cheap, but extremely durable as well, perfect for the bustling bistros and cafes. It also featured a cane seat with holes in it, which acted as drainage for any spilled drinks. Pretty genius, right? Now, I'm not sure if it was purposely built that way, but it sure added to the appeal of it. The chair became so popular that by the 1930s they had sold over 50 million of these. That is about 2,000 chairs every single day. The chair had kind of become an integral part of the European culture. Picasso had one, Einstein did, even Chaplin can be seen on one of these. A rumor has it that the chair was so durable, someone threw it off the Eiffel Tower just to prove it, and it survived. At least, that's what the legend is. The crazier part though is that all of this happened just because one man decided to not give up on his love for making chairs. And with that, if someone is still watching, I wanna leave you guys with my final thoughts on this. While making this video, there was one certain thought that kept bugging me. It is how people keep shitting on how mass-produced furniture has ruined what good design means. And I do agree with them to some extent, but at the same time I strongly believe that good design can often be found in the most mundane objects, things that kind of disappear in your everyday life. And honestly, what's even the point of good design if it cannot be mass-produced and serve the humanity? That is exactly what this chair did. Revolutionized the way billions of people sit every day.